Hi there, this is Ann Pearson with the Paralegal Bootcamp. We're kicking off day one of our virtual Paralegal Summit. And this is a topic that's probably at the top of your mind because so many law firms have their paralegals and other staff working from home and maybe only a skeleton crew in the office so that we can comply with our new social distancing guidelines. So what's important to remember is you can't go from this work setting, this organized, productive work setting, to this one and be as productive as you were in the office. This is not an at-home work environment. This is not working remotely. This is trying to take care of your toddler and multitask and put a few fires out at work. So let's try to make this as productive as possible during this time. The reality is that working remotely is not easy. It's great at first because you don't have to commute to the office and maybe you think, oh, I can stay in my pajamas all day. But once we all start hitting week 2 or 3 or more, I have a feeling most of us are going to be longing to be back in the office for a variety of reasons. Now, if that's not the case for you, if you've always wanted to be able to work from home, let's say maybe a couple of days a week to ease your commute, it's historically been hard as a paralegal to convince management, especially your attorneys, that you would be able to work from home and provide the same level of support as you do in the office. If that's you, now is your opportunity to prove to them that you can be just as productive at home as you are in the office. Now, I'm going to warn you, it may require you to work harder at home than you actually did in the office. Because the reality is, many people will presume you're not working as much as you say you are. That's the reality of working remotely sometimes. That's something that you're going to have to overcome by making yourself available to others, responding to emails and phone calls right away. And I know you might be saying, well, how is this any different than if I were to leave the office to attend a document review at another law firm? Unfortunately, it is. And it's different just for the perception basis. I reached out to some attorneys I used to work with this last week or two, and I wanted to reach out to them to get their thoughts on how it's working for them, working from home and what their firms were doing. And they all said they're worried that there's just not enough work to do at home every single day, 8 hours a day for weeks on end. So let's do everything we possibly can to show them that working from home can work for law firms. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the big 5 things that you can do to help you stay sane and productive while you're working at home. First, we're going to talk about keeping the same routine as if you were going to the office, using your lack of commute time wisely, keeping accurate timekeeping records, taking regular breaks, and connecting with colleagues. First up, if you can, keep the same routine that you had when you were going into the office every day. Set the alarm for the same time and follow your usual morning routine, which also means getting dressed. For some people, the prospect of staying in their PJs all day is the aspect that they like the most about working from home. But don't do it. Getting dressed will psychologically prepare you for work, to get started at work. Now, I'm not saying you have to get dressed in business attire, even if it's just putting on jeans and a t-shirt or shorts and a t-shirt, as long as it's not your pajamas. All right, second, let's use the lack of commute time wisely. Let's say you used to have a 45-minute commute each way. That's 90 minutes extra you now have in a day. Use it to do something that's going to benefit you physically, mentally, or professionally. Don't use it to catch up on TV shows or the latest news report, because you're going to have that available 24/7. Instead, think about doing some maybe exercise or meditating, sitting down and writing out your daily plan, organizing your workspace so that when it comes time to start work, you can jump right in, or take a course. Think about it. If you've got an extra 90 minutes per day for the next couple weeks that you would have otherwise been stuck in your car or on a subway, you could learn a whole new skill or enhance your current skills. All right, third, keep accurate timekeeping records. Whether you have a billable hour requirement or not, make sure that you're keeping track of when you're actually doing work versus when you're not. But it's especially important if you do have a billable hour requirement. You're going to have to get really good at avoiding those common home distractions like other household members, especially if you have kids home from school. But maybe it's also your spouse or roommate who's also trying to work from home right now. Household chores can also be a distraction. The need to run personal errands, especially in times like these when we are hearing so much about scarcity and you all of a sudden hear Walmart might have gotten a shipment of toilet paper in last night. Try to do that at a time when you wouldn't be working otherwise, like 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Go run your personal errands at 7:30 a.m. and be back at your desk by 8 a.m. Another thing that you can do is to start tracking your productivity. So track it each day, figure out what exactly did you do. If you were clocked in from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., when you're leaving to take a break, when you're taking a personal phone call, write all of that down so that after the first day or two, you can look and see where the pattern is, where you're losing the time. But as much as it's important to stay productive, you also have to take regular breaks. Productivity and the ability to focus and concentrate, they all require that you give your brain and your body regular breaks throughout the day. Think of it like this. When you were at the office, you probably got up occasionally and walked down the hall to use the restroom, stop at the kitchen, maybe stop by the attorney's office and say hi. When you're in the office, you're moving around occasionally. When you're at home, you're probably not. You're probably in a lot smaller space. Maybe it's you and a couple other people trying to work from home, and there's not a lot of space. That's where a Fitbit can come in handy if you have one or one of the other tracking devices. I have mine set to buzz at me if it's 50 minutes past the hour and I don't have at least 250 steps in that hour. There are some days when I'm real busy and I ignore that buzzing several times throughout the day, and then I go back and see that I was sedentary at my desk not moving for 3.5 hours. That's not good. So you could set a stopwatch or a timer on your computer. Every 90 minutes or so, 2 hours max, get up and stretch, maybe go outside, walk around the block. It doesn't have to be a 15 or 20-minute break. It could be a 2 or 3-minute break. But whatever you do, don't be tempted to turn the TV on during that break time. Those daytime talk shows will suck the life out of any day. And just like you don't have the TV on in the background all day at the office, you don't want it in the background at home either. You can catch up on the news when you clock out at 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, which leads me to my final one. Connect with your colleagues. This is so important right now for a variety of reasons. Number one, if you're not available to them on an instant messaging, phone calls or video calls when they do try to reach out to you, then they're going to start questioning how productive this work from home thing really is. But it's not just that. If you're self-isolating at this time, those video calls with your colleagues might be the only personal interaction you have with people. I talked to one law firm, a lawyer in particular, this past week who says they're having their weekly team meetings by video conference, even though it used to be by phone call. I talked to another law firm who's been sending out screensavers that are pictures of what they would be viewing if they were sitting in their office, which I thought was pretty cool. They're doing some creative things to keep people connected. So think about what you can do to stay connected with your colleagues. So now take this PDF handout, cut this slide out, tape it near your computer or on your at-home desk, your kitchen table, wherever you're working from. And at least for this next week or so, give yourself a reminder each day. Take a look at them and see, what am I doing to make sure that this is the most productive time possible for me, and so that we can all get through this. Now tomorrow we're going to start our 7 habits of indispensable paralegals. That's where we're going to send you one habit each day for the next 7 days of this virtual summit. Try to watch the video in the morning if you can, so that then you can implement each of them throughout the day and then move on to the next habit the next day. We'll also have some resources that you'll be able to download to help you with that. I want to close by saying, you're a paralegal, you've got this. So jump on over to our Facebook page, share your tip on how you're staying productive at home today, connect with your paralegal community, and support each other. Thanks and have a great day.